So here we are, folks. We've started now. It is 9:04. It is the 10th of February, 2020. I hope everybody is well. Those who are watching on the replay or who are listening on the Ats on This TV audio experience on iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or SoundCloud or anywhere else you get your podcasts from, thank you for joining us. You're going to be able to listen to all of the audio of everything we're going through tonight. If you want to watch the video version and you just listen to the audio, go over to youtube.com/Ats on This TV, facebook.com/Ats on This TV. If you are not a member of the main website this is all about, actonthis.tv, honest to God, you're missing out on like so much like real game-changing acting career stuff. Again, I've had so many emails from people this week, and it is amazing. And it's not me who's doing this in terms of like, I don't take credit for this, but I'm getting so many people messaging me saying, oh my God, I listened to that podcast you did with such and such a body, a casting director, an agent, etc., etc. I took action on it. I sent an email I was never going to send until I heard that podcast. I knew exactly what to write in it, and now I've got an agent or I've landed a TV job. Some people's like are saying, you know, Steve, don't know what you did to get your Corrie credit, mate, but people are taking action they wouldn't normally take because they are feeling motivated and inspired by hearing the very people in the industry they want to get auditions with say, listen, it's okay, come and email us, get in touch, send your stuff. So if you're not a member of AtsOnThis.tv, do get over to the website. There it is right now, AtsOnThis.tv. I put a brand new podcast up this morning that I don't know how many people will listen to yet because I sent an email out to the email list this morning. Quite interesting. I'm using a different piece of software to send my emails out. The emails look beautiful. They look much nicer than they used to look. But I've noticed in terms of, I get reports on the open rates of how many people have opened the email. And the open rate has dropped right down. So I'm like, I don't know if the system is delivering them to people's inboxes as well as the old system. If you normally get emails from me on a Monday and you didn't get one this morning, just check your trash for me now. It'd be really useful actually whilst we're on this live. Because the email I sent out tonight to say I was live, I used the old system for. So if you've got that one, check your trash or your junk box for one that I sent out this morning. And whilst I'm on here, it'd be great to get some feedback to let me know if you did receive that. Because I put a great new podcast out this morning. Two awesome actors. There they are, Dean Smith and Gary Damer. You'll know Dean from all kinds of stuff. Waterloo Road. He did Last Tango in Halifax. He's just done Still Open All Hours with David Jason. You know, it's Gary on the right there, from East is East, Fresh Meat, Coronation Street. These guys, they're just great fun. They're just kind of like a comedy duo. But they also have their own podcast called Behind the Medal, all about running, how marathons change their lives. It's had that effect on me. I started running in 2010, so we talk about the benefits of running ultimately, and the parallels between running marathons and having an acting career, because there's a shit ton of parallels, but also how, you know, physical well-being can really impact on your mental well-being, mental health as an actor, and ultimately kind of set you up for success. So it's a great 2-hour podcast. You can watch the full video of it there, or you can listen to the full audio. That's the preview if you're not a member of AtsOnThis.tv. If you are a member of AtsOnThis.tv, you'll find it in the members area right now. It's 2 hours of incredible content. Don't go there now. Watch, because I'm going to play tonight the behind-the-scenes vlog of recording that podcast. So you will see some little clips of the podcast as well within what I'm going to play you guys tonight. Also, little announcement for those people who are used to watching the behind the scenes of all the podcasts that I do. It's called Watch Ross. It's a vlog that I started 2.5 years ago. Not to drop a bombshell or anything, but the episode I'm going to play out you guys tonight is the last one I'm doing. Just because I'm changing the way that we do stuff, and I thought, you know what, rather than continue to film behind the scenes of these podcasts, which are great, and you all get to see how it works, and you get to get some exclusive chat with the guests as well that's not included in the podcast. I was just working out how many like extra days it takes us to edit that stuff, send it out, promote it, put it on YouTube, put it on Facebook, all this stuff. And I was talking to Petch, my cameraman, I was like, mate, why don't we just, rather than do that, just create the members of Ats on This another podcast? So rather than doing a podcast and a vlog that goes out, you know, to just everybody, I want to reward members of AtsOnThis.tv more than anybody. So rather than just give you, you know, one podcast and then a vlog, I'm going to give you like, you know, we'll just record more podcasts ultimately. So this year, good news for you lot, if you are a member, you're going to get more podcasts than you've ever had before. So we'll do a little check-in, and then I'm going to play you behind the scenes. I'm going to play you the last episode of Watch Ross in its current format, like ever. So I don't know if there'll be other episodes out, but I'm sure there will be at some stage down the line. But in its current format, it's done. I won't be doing any more of them. So if you're watching tonight, you get a little piece of Act on This history. What I'm also going to do is I'm just going to start another watch party off because I forgot to share this in another acting group that normally gets quite a bit of traction. If you do live video, guys, do watch parties. It's a really, just in terms of marketing, or if, say, for instance, you had a short film or a showreel scene that you just shot and you wanted more people to see it, I might do a tutorial on this and just put it out for you guys for nothing, on how you can play recorded video out live as if it's live. Facebook really favors live video right now. So in terms of its organic algorithm, the one that you don't have to pay for, as in Facebook ads, it likes live video. So the more live video you can do, the better. But most people don't know how to do live video unless it's just directly from their phone. So you don't get to do everything you see on your screen right now. Well, those listening on the audio experience, you won't see this, but I've got like lower thirds up saying Ross Grant, that's on this.tv. I can put music on, I can play video, all this kind of stuff. I could have I'm going to play my vlog tonight that's pre-recorded. I'm going to play it out as if it's a live video. So it just means that you get more eyeballs on, you can do watch parties, all that kind of stuff. It's a great way just in terms of marketing to, have more people see your stuff. Dawn, good evening. Dougal, good evening. Carly, how you doing? John's here now as well. Owen's here, how you doing, mate? Anyone got any exciting news to report before I play this for you tonight as well? Let us know. Hey all, who stayed up and watched the Oscars then, says Gary. Mate, I didn't, and I don't know anyone this year who was at the Oscars, so there was no one I know up for a prize like there has been previous years. So no, I don't know an awful lot about what went on, to be honest. I'm sure I will do a little trawl when I get into bed of some of the acceptance speeches and stuff. I saw Parasite was a big winner and was quite unexpected, so quite interested to see it. I have no idea what that film's even about. Didn't see it, didn't hear of it really until all the Oscars hype. Murray, how you doing? Good evening. Ali's here as well. How you doing, Si? Si, you've seen this vlog. I saw it because I only put it out about an hour before I've gone live. You've already seen this set, mate, so I'm going to play it out for you again, but maybe you want to watch it again. Thanks for the message, though. He said Si said it did inspire him to do the thing that we're going to tell you all to do in the vlog, but you can find out what that is in a minute. Sharon, how are you? Good evening. So much useful info on there. Cheers, Sharon. Sharon's a member of Acts on This. Hello, Stephanie says, can finally make a live for once rather than watching a replay. Nice one, Steph. Good on you. But if you ever do miss a live, these all go on Facebook. Well, straight away they're available on Facebook. They all go on YouTube. They all go on Spotify as just the audio. Just search for Act on This TV, all one word, and you'll find the Act on This TV audio experience on Spotify and on Stitcher. Alex, good evening. Paul says, check my junk a few days ago. All my emails are in there. Paul, if you've got a Hotmail address, anyone who's got a Hotmail address, I struggle like hell to get my emails that I send to you guys in your inboxes. Hotmail is notoriously, and Outlook, notoriously harsh for spam filters because it was one of the platforms many years ago that was just always used to send spam. People would hack Hotmail and Outlook accounts more than any other. So I find it very easy to get in the inboxes of Gmail accounts, people who just have Mac Mail, Apple Mail, Yahoo, but Outlook and Hotmail, if you have one, please go in and whitelist the domain actonthis.tv. You'll have a little section in there where you can actually say, I want to whitelist all email from this domain can go straight into my inbox. And all you need to do is whitelist the domain actonthis.tv, and then any emails I send out will always hit your inbox, so you're never going to miss out on stuff. But yeah, it's like an industry-wide thing if you do email marketing. So hard to get into people's inboxes if they're using Hotmail or Outlook. I find it absolutely impossible. Even my own, I can't even get into my own Hotmail inbox. I just cannot do it. Gary says mine always goes into spam, even though I tell it it's not. I'm going to have to try and... It's just so hard. Email marketing is so difficult these days because marketers have ruined it by spamming people's shit. I'm sending you, decent stuff. So it's affecting my delivery rates. I started getting emails, says Callum, but they're both in my junk box. Callum, whitelist for me, mate, particularly if you're on Hotmail. It means you're going to get everything. Anyone who's on my email list and you're like, what? I don't even get emails. I promise you, they're probably, if you're on Hotmail or Outlook, they're definitely going to your spam. Carly said, I did get it. Started listening to the podcast on my commute today. Nice one, Carly. T's here. Fortunately, all mine go in my main inbox. Nice. I got your email this morning. Thank you, Nina. Awesome. Got 0 emails from you. Usually go to junk folder, but nothing there either. Nancy, who are you with? Or maybe I just need to change my email provider. If it can't get into it, can't get into people's inboxes at all. All right, Tony, how you doing? Tony's here from Chicago. Wendy's now here as well. And Caroline didn't get an email. Right, I'll get onto them because the software that I'm now using is fantastic. It makes the emails look lovely, much nicer than they used to look. But if delivery is going to dropped by incredible amounts, like, I don't know, 20%, something like that. That's a big drop when my email is large. So that's a big drop to have 20% of my email list not getting the email they used to get before I moved onto this new software. We'll sort that out. So I'm going to play you guys now, right? The behind the scenes of this episode, this new podcast that I put out on actonthis.tv today. Like I say, if you are not a member, you'll hear about what the website's about within this vlog. You'll see behind the scenes of it, and you'll also see 4 or 5 little snippets from it. It's a 2-hour podcast, so you're going to see maybe 15 minutes of it now. There's some absolute gold in there, though. We talk about Gary and Dean's careers, where they started, all kinds of real honest stuff as well about pursuing an acting career. And like I say, the parallels between pursuing an acting career and actually running that 26.2 miles that is a marathon. I've run a few marathons, and they're freaking, until you put your body through that toil and that toll, really, you don't understand like how far you can push yourself. And I think a lot of actors stop halfway through the marathon because they don't realize how much further they could go if they just allowed themselves to. They just allow fear of failure, rejection, the fear of other people's opinions, the fear of them getting too old and having not made it yet, all this kind of bullshit. And it's the equivalent of like stopping. I stopped at the Houses of Parliament once on the London Marathon. It was about 24 miles into the 26.2 mile race. And in my head, I just kept saying to myself, just stop, just walk for 10 yards, Ross, walk for 10 paces. And then, just because my legs were killing me. Just walk for 10 paces and then you'll get going again. And I kept putting it off and I kept putting it off until eventually I just gave in. I was just too weak. And I went, no, okay. And I walked for 10 yards. I could not get going again for love nor money. My legs felt like lead. I just couldn't move, and I ended up hobbling around the last 2.2 miles of it. I wanted to get in under 4 hours, but because I had stopped and I hadn't just pushed through, I came in at 4 hours and 6 minutes. The following Sunday, I ran the Manchester Marathon. So I did 2 in a week, and I promised myself, even though my ankle was hurting from the off because I'd just done the London Marathon the week before, I promised myself no matter how bad I felt, I would just keep moving and I wouldn't stop and I wouldn't walk. Even if it felt like I was running on the spot, I would not walk. And I didn't walk a single yard, and I came in 3 hours and 53 minutes. So I knocked off 13 minutes because I didn't take those 10 yards outside the Houses of Parliament in London. I carried on pushing through, and I think life's just like that sometimes. You want to stop, but if you do, you won't get going again. So if you're currently struggling a little bit and you're feeling a bit shit and something's not gone right in your career this year, and you're already facing adversity, just don't stop. Just continue to go, and you will get there much faster than you would, if you, ultimately stop and then you can't get going again. Callum says, my exciting news this week is getting the £1 trial of Acts on This. The content you're putting out is amazing. Where has it been all my life? Nice one, Callum. Cheers, mate. If anybody, I don't advertise the £1 trial, put the link out everywhere. I normally direct message it to someone if they request it. If you haven't had one before and you want to explore what actonthis.tv is, I do a £1 trial for 7 days. There's no catch to it whatsoever. You basically pay £1, you get access to it for 7 days. If you don't want to carry your membership out after the 7 days, you just go into the members area. You don't need to ask permission from anyone. You don't need to get me to cancel it, because I fucking hate companies that do that. Come and take a trial out with us, and then you can't cancel it unless you phone them at 2:05 till 2:15 on a Friday. It's bullshit. You can cancel it literally whenever you want from your own members area. If you want one of those links, and I will give you one gladly if you've never had one before, if you just email me, Ross at actonthis.tv, at actonthis.tv, Ross at actonthis.tv, just put, hey Ross, would like a £1 trial link. I'll send it you. The links expire after 48 hours, so I'll send you one, use it, try it out for 7 days. If you aren't blown away by the content, cancel. Honestly, absolutely don't mind whatsoever. I just want, like Callum said there, I just want people to see how game-changing this stuff is, honest to God. It really, really is. You will just feel inspired. You will gain more knowledge than any drama school. I went to one of the best drama schools in the country. I could learn more by listening to 4 podcasts. I swear to God, I'm not joking, about the business of the business. We got no business of the business training at all in 3 years of drama school. We just did theatre shows. That was it, basically. So if you really want to understand how you translate those skills into work and ultimately money, so you can pay your bills acting and acting alone, go and listen to some of the stuff, watch some of the podcasts. I'm going to show you the one behind the scenes now. It's £1 for 7 days, but just reach out, ross@actonthis.tv, and I will sort it out for you. I can still see your comments while I'm watching this, so please keep leaving them. Do comment. We'll do a bit of a recap after this. This is about a 22-minute vlog, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's going to inspire you, not only to keep going in your acting career, but maybe put on a pair of running shoes and get out and actually run not just the marathon of acting, but an actual marathon. So I'll see you guys in about 23 minutes-ish. All right, enjoy.
It depends on how you identify yourself within the industry. If someone said to me, just apropos of nothing, if aliens landed now and said, Dean, what are you?
Yeah.
I would list a lot of words before I got to the word actor.
Welcome everybody to episode 68 of Watch Ross, the one where we're changing direction. Yes, it is 2020, folks. Happy New Year. Slightly belated Happy New Year. It's mid-January. Well, slightly past mid-January, 21st of January, as we record this episode of Watch Ross. And as I alluded to in the intro there, we're going to change things up this year, aren't we, Petch? We've decided, you know what, we've been giving you the same sort of formulaic episodes of Watch Ross now for pretty much 2.5 years. We started this in September 2017. It's now January 2019. 68 episodes, lots of specials. So we started it just out here, you're right, just out here outside Lily's. Massive shout out to Lily's, you've been a huge part of this for us. But yeah, over 70 episodes now, and we had a chat over Christmas, and I'm like, look, it's time to just mix it up. We're going to start doing things differently, and one way we're going to do that is by, don't get upset by this, by for now halting the long form versions of these vlogs. So this is the last version of Watch Ross you're going to see now in its current format. There might be different formats moving forward, but ultimately I'll tell you why we're doing that. We can give actors who are watching, and particularly members of actonthis.tv, and if you are an actor and you're not a member of actonthis.tv right now, seriously, get involved for 2020. You have been missing out on some incredible content over the last couple of years. We're going to be giving you guys who are members even more value this year. Rather than us spending a day, 2 days, editing a long form version of this vlog that shows behind the scenes of a podcast on actonthis.tv, we're just going to get out there and use that time to record more podcasts for actonthis.tv. So if you are a member, good news for you, you're going to be getting more podcasts this year than you've ever had before, which brings me on to today's podcast that you're going to see behind the scenes of right now. I've got 2 incredible guests, 2 great actors, Dean Smith, Gary Damer, 2 top blokes. You'll know Dean from loads of stuff. Back in the day, Waterloo Road. Do you ever watch Waterloo Road, Petch, back in the day? No? You'd have been good in that. You could be good in that now. He only looks 15. He could be in that now. He looks like a school child. Yeah, Waterloo Road, you'll know him from Corrie, Hollyoaks, more recently stuff like Still Open All Hours with David Jason. Some awesome shows. He's also the host of Monologue Slam. I met Dean at Monologue Slam Manchester. If you're an actor and you haven't heard of Monologue Slam, go and research that. Awesome things to get involved with. You'll know Gary from East is East. Love that film. Love that film. Top film. You'll also know Gary. He's done Coronation Street, a lot of Corrie. You know, he's done Fresh Meat. That was an awesome show I used to watch. So these are 2 guys who've been around a long time, done a lot of work, got a lot of experience in the acting industry. Going to be talking to them all about that. But they also host their own podcast, nothing to do with acting, called Behind the Medal. It's a podcast all about running, another massive passion of mine, and Petch's more recently as well. I started running marathons in 2010, changed my life, not just physically, but like it really helps you with your mental game. I think it's something all actors should do. Everyone should be out running. It's the most underprescribed antidepressant on the planet. If you're an actor and you're in a slump right now, you're not working, get out there, move your body, start running. You will become addicted. You'll probably like end up running loads of marathons, but it will change your life. That was what happened for Dean and Gary. They've run marathons all around the world now. Going to be talking to them all about that, all about their podcasts, acting, just life in general. This is going to be a good one, I promise you. We're going to be going up to the apartment now, Petch. We're going to set up, then we're going to be back after a few clips of the podcast to wrap up this like final era of Watch Ross, which is crazy. And I might put a special t-shirt on, Petch, for the final scene. So that's something you should stick around for 100%. And then, yeah, if you want to go and watch the full podcast, you can do that on actonthis.tv. So I'm going to finish with Brew, get upstairs. This is the Dean and Gary Roundtable. Dean Smith, Gary Damer, welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my apartment. Thanks for being here, boys. How are you?
I'm very well, man.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Absolute pleasure. Two fantastic actors, but also a first for this podcast, two other podcast hosts.
Have you never had a podcast people on before?
I've never had have we ever had a podcast host on before, Petch? Who's got their own podcast? Who's that? Oh, Matt Hall. Yeah.
Oh, so he obviously wasn't that memorable.
I was going, who's that?
He was on the vlog. Technically, he wasn't. We didn't do a podcast with him. So yeah, this is a first. I will be talking a lot about your podcast today. I listened to it. Very much enjoyed it. Was very happy to see like the success blow up on the podcast previously on Christmas, where you Christmas just gone, Christmas 2019, where you put an episode out with Mr. Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, we'd recorded it. When did we record it? August time, September.
Yeah. It feels like ages ago.
Oh
now.
my god! And we were just waiting on his management to sign it off, and we'd been getting notices saying, "Please don't release it because we're waiting for Stormzy to get to #1 and Eminem to release a record." As if we were interrupting that.
God. But the thing is, I'm so impatient. So like every week, I was messaging him going, "Dean, can we put it out yet?" Because I was so excited to release it because I knew how good it was.
Yeah.
And I was messaging him, "Dean, can we put it out yet?" And he's like, "Mate, we've got to wait for this. We've got to wait for that." I was like, "Fucking hell, come on, any
But
danger?"
It was like every day that went past that the interview had less credibility or was less fun. I was like, mate, it still stands up.
It's still it's evergreen, Gary.
I was excited to put it out. You know what it's like when you're proud of something, you just want it to go out.
You just wait until this is finished. I'll be getting messages off Petch every day going, "Can we put the one with Gary and Dean out yet?" I'll be
There
like,
you go, man. You know the drill.
We're waiting for Stormzy to get to #1. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that. So the podcast is called Behind the Medal. It's all about running and just endurance sports, I guess. So nothing to do with acting, but I think there's a load of parallels. This is another reason why I wanted to bring you on. I think there's a shitload of parallels between running a marathon, that's something you talk a lot about in the podcast, and actually running the marathon of having an acting career in terms of like, what it takes to just, not even, well, I guess there isn't a finish line with your acting career, but just to hang in there and, just keep running, I guess.
Well, we always said that running is pretty much a spot on metaphor for life, almost. You got to put a lot of stuff into it to get a lot of stuff out of it. Like with running, if you just turned up to a marathon start line and tried it, you're gonna fuck up. You're gonna feel pretty horrendous.
I've seen people do.
I've seen someone do as well.
Yeah. Well, I've done it. And it didn't end well. But
Gary, where did you just turn up to the marathon?
New York.
Yeah.
I didn't. It wasn't as cut and dry as that. My friend was supposed to be running it, but she got injured, so she decided not to run it. And I was thinking, it seems such a waste to go all this way and not attempt it. So I attempted it.
But I tell you what, New York though I haven't done. I've only done like the two, like probably. I mean, London's big, isn't it?
London's one of the biggest ones in the world, so that's a good one.
That's pretty good. I've done that a few times, and then done Manchester a few times. But I've not ventured out into like other countries. You boys just seem to be like on a plane here, there, and everywhere. Here we are, just waiting for the Uber. We're going to Madrid today.
Yeah. But that's the way to do it. It's one of the best ways to see the world. I think because by definition, the route of a marathon takes you past all the best places. Yeah. So it's just the best way of seeing places. And I've said it before on our podcast, it gives you so much more right to a beer and a party at the end of the run. You can enjoy a holiday then.
Yeah. Both have got great acting careers. Looking at your IMDb, both done great stuff. I didn't know you'd done Still Open All Hours.
Yeah, man, this year.
That's recent, isn't it?
Yeah, I shot that in the summer. It's the first time I'd ever worked with BBC Comedy Department, which has been a dream of mine since I was born, pretty much. Me and Gary met doing sketch comedy in pubs around Manchester. I've written a load of sketch comedy. I've written loads of plays and treatments that comedy. But until you've done comedy, you can't get into comedy.
Yeah.
That whole horrible circle. So I'd never done anything before. And I got a phone call from my agent who had a phone call from the casting director. And they said that I was perfect for the part. I read it. Inevitably, it was a nerdy virgin, which is what the BBC make me play constantly. So I went down and did it, but it was ace, man. I mean, you're working with Sir David Jason. He's
honestly one of my, honestly, people are like,
cool.
who's kind of like your acting heroes. A lot of mine aren't Hollywood names. Mine honestly are. Like David Jason would be one of my absolute heroes in terms of, he plays Del Boy and then he plays Frost and you're like, shit, I would have no idea these two people were the same thing. In terms of character acting, like there's just no better in the UK, I don't think. The guy's awesome. Him, Ronnie Barker was a massive, bit of a hero of mine. Obviously a great comedian as well, great comedy actor. What was it like meeting him and working with him?
It was ace, man. I mean, it was one of those things when you talk about bucket list stuff as an actor, a BBC sitcom was right at the top. The fact that it was at Pinewood Studios as well, which, we were filming next door to James Bond.
Nice.
Which is
just slip in on your dinner hour. Just go, all right, Daniel, I'm just going to step in.
If you need to talk about how to be sexy, it's cool. I'll give you 5 minutes. And so there's all of those things. And then on top of that, you've got Johnny Vegas, who Gary has worked with as well. You've got Sally Lindsay. You've got all these amazing people. But Sir David Jason's the lead. The first time I met him, we were at a little rehearsal studio down in Hammersmith somewhere. And I knew a guy called James Baxter who plays his son in the thing. So me and him were talking. And I was talking to James and David wanders over. And he was talking to James about something and David introduced himself. And I said, mate, you've done really well to work with this knobhead for so long. And I pointed to James. Which can go one or two ways when you've just met someone. But I think I want to make an impression. We're doing a comedy show. And David pissed himself, punched me in the arm and called me a plonker and walked off.
Oh, I love it. Rodney, I mean, that's an honour, isn't it? Rodney, you plonker.
I literally texted my dad. I was like, Dad, Del Boy just called me a plonker.
Oh my God.
I got the self-tape for Still Open when I was in Madrid with this weirdo.
Doing the marathon.
Holy shit.
Well, I've listened to that podcast.
It's a good stuff.
Yeah.
So I get this, my agent rings me, Dean, why have I got an international dial tone? Where are you?
Oh God.
I was like, I'm in Madrid, I'm doing a marathon. She was like, of course you are. What else would you be doing? I've got a tape for you. We need the tape by Monday morning. Have you got someone to do it with you? Yeah, cool. I'm with 2 actors. Gary and
Danny was there, wasn't he? I've met Danny recently because I'm a patron of Once Upon a Smile.
So am I.
So yeah, there you go. So I've met Danny with Danny Miller over the last few months.
Oh, sweet, yeah. So Danny's there as well. So I said to him, guys, will you help me out? Will you do this thing? They went, yeah, cool. But we kept putting it off. Obviously, we had the marathon, then we had a big night out. We got very drunk, got very hungover. We kept pushing it back, and then I said to him, literally, guys, I need it doing now. Because I need to send it over. So I had the printouts. We set up the little studio, didn't we? It was one of those where you set your camera up and these guys were so hungover. I've got a great picture of Gary with the scripts like that, rattling. And Tennant.
You can hear the paper rustling on the self-tape from me.
And there's Tennant there and he's not even got dressed yet. He's nude pretty much, just holding the camera. And he was shaking that much. He had to prop it underneath a bottle of water.
Oh my God.
And somehow I managed to book the job despite the efforts of 2 of my best pals.
What? Not off one tape that was done in Madrid?
No, I then went and met them.
I was going to say, bloody hell, you can do my self-tape in future, Gary, definitely, yeah.
Well, I've got a 100% success rate with this lad because every time he's done a self-tape with me, he's booked the job. So maybe this could be like a little sideline. Listen, I've had quite a decent acting career, right? But my mum's claim to fame, which really fucking upsets me, is Dean auditioned for Last Tango in Halifax.
Yep.
And he did the self-tape in my kitchen, right? So my mum literally goes around telling everyone, going, oh, well, the Last Tango in Halifax, he auditioned in my kitchen. I'm like, Mum, I've been on the telly a little bit as well.
Done some stuff as well.
We talk about this on our podcast, Instagram culture, where people see the end goal. They see the top of the mountain, but they don't see how you climb up to the top of it.
They see the person with a medal, with a pint or the side, going, look at me. And you go, oh God, it looks like they've not even broken out in a sweat.
Exactly.
But they don't see the 26.2 miles of what I love about marathons is it's me against myself. That's what I love. I love the mental game of going, everything inside you is going, stop. If you just stop, Ross, the pain will stop. And your acting career is like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what? If you just stop going for auditions, all the disappointment will stop, right? You just drop out. It'll be fine. But then there's that other voice that's going, nah, fuck you. You got to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, you are better than this. You know, you don't give up. And like, I run for a lot of charities. Tell you around my eye condition, got this dodgy eye condition. So selfishly, I run for charities who can maybe one day find a cure for this. But I'm like, in my head, it might sound a bit deep, but I'm like, I'm running for every other person who's got this condition, who's now blind because of it, who cannot run. I'm running for you as well. You know, when you're running, what's have you got any special causes or anything that's going through your head? Because on lots of marathons, you do get emotional. I've heard it on your podcast where you're a mess when you cross the finish line, and until someone has put their body through 26.2 miles, or in the acting industry, have put them through 10, 12 years of slog until they actually get that job they want. It is freaking emotional.
Yeah, it is. And I think you're always, especially on a run, you're always on the edge. And there's certain things that trigger me off is when I'm running and I see someone wearing a vest or something, and they'll say they're running this for, you know, my mum or my granddad. Yeah. Little things like that can just straight away bawl my eyes out, you know what I mean? But we do a lot. Well, we both do a lot for the Christie charity. That's like my main one. I think it's such an important place for Manchester and the work they do. So they're the ones that I try and do all my stuff for, you know, the Christie Hospital. So anytime I'm running or anytime I'm watching an event and I see someone run past with a t-shirt on or, you know, the Christie vest or whatever, I get emotional, you know, because it's just, you don't know what people are going through, do you? And to see a little reminder that we're all here and we're all trying to do our bit, and
that's the one. It's the personal stories that get to me, whether they're mine at the time or not. My dad had prostate cancer a couple of years ago. He's all good now. So we raised a few. We did a sketch night for it, but around it we did a couple of runs. And if you saw a prostate cancer t-shirt run past, you know, you get choked up. We did the Chicago Marathon 3 days after I found out my granddad had died. My granddad was a very keen runner, massive part of my life. He was a runner. We told the story on the podcast that he once, I said to granddad once, so did you ever do any marathon distance, granddad? He went, oh, yeah. So what did you do? You know, I only did one. I came third. And he'd cited the fact that he'd not won as a reason why, I'm not doing it anymore. It's bollocks.
I didn't win the marathon of 30,000 people. How many people were running in it?
I have no idea.
My God.
But I'd written granddad on my arm for the Chicago Marathon. So as I was running around, I kept glancing down and getting very emotional, you know, as that was going on. But like Gary says about the Christie and yourself, when things are personal, when you see people running and they've got things on their back, or you see signs, you know, you go, Dave, you know, you can do it. Everyone's thinking about it. I get choked. I cry like that, mate.
Because no doubt someone will have seen Grandad written on your arm, seen you looking at it, seen you filling up, and that would have made them fill up. You know what I mean? Because it's so emotional, and you know, your body's so tired and so draining that any little thing can just set you off. Yeah.
You've spoken about the emotional connections you have to get yourself through races. I think if you've got that emotional connection with why you want to succeed in the acting industry, that's the other thing that will pull you through the shit when you are faced with that, you know, and when you're facing all the rejection. What is it that makes you guys, what's the thing that pushes you through it when you're literally in the dirt, you know, get back up and go back out there and carry on? What was it that, I guess, it's like a burning desire to do this?
The thing that scares me is that I can't do anything else.
Right, okay.
That sounds quite stupid. It sounds like a gag, but I didn't go to uni. Instead of going to university, I did Waterloo Road. I've made some side steps in the industry now. I do a bit of presenting with this knobhead. I do some teaching, started directing a little bit, but it's just to try and broaden the avenues in which I could possibly work.
Yeah.
Because for me, I've always felt an enormous privilege. I make money. My main source of income is from a hobby, and that has no pressure attached to it as far as I'm concerned. I'm very fortunate. I go to a meeting. I genuinely do not care if I get that meeting or not. That sounds like a hyperbole, but it's not. I go, I've given my best. I've prepared. I know what I'm offering you guys. If you don't want it, that's cool. And I walk away. I've been doing this for 13 years now. Shit. And if it all turned around and stopped tomorrow, that's cool. But as part of this marathon of life, I just then adapt to how do I finish this race of life? Yeah. How do I stop and how do I change? I don't feel like I'm not handcuffed to the industry. We talked about this before. It depends on how you identify yourself within the industry. If someone said to me, just apropos of nothing, if aliens landed now and said, Dean, what are you?
Yeah.
I would list a lot of words before I got to the word actor. I would list personality traits. I would list my relationships, my family before I got to the word actor. My friendships before I got to the word actor. Some people, what are you? Actor is the first thing.
Yeah.
And I think it sets you up a little bit for a loss, because how can you possibly steer the ship that is your life when the thing that you identify with the most is out of your control?
Boom! There you go, everybody. You've just seen 3, potentially 4, I don't know how many clips of what was an incredible podcast. TV's Gary Day, when that was over 2 hours. How was it for you?
Yeah, it didn't feel that long, so that's a good sign, isn't it?
Always a good sign. Dean?
I loved it. Yeah, really nice. Really great.
We talked about, just sort of cut you off there.
It's all right.
It's all right. I went, how was that? Yeah, give me the mic back. Yeah, we talked about so much there. A lot about the acting industry, but a lot about running, right? And that might sound like it has nothing to do with acting, but there's, that was the real reason I wanted to bring you guys on. You do the Behind the Medal podcast, all about running, but you're both actors. And we spoke about the parallels between running marathons and really like the marathon of life, the marathon of being an actor in this industry, and the hard work, the patience and the perseverance that is required to both complete a marathon, but also, I guess there is no finish line in the acting industry, but, at least cross the finish line of various goals you might have, whether that's landing your first TV job or your 10th, your first small role or your lead role, whatever that is. Just wanted to expand just for a few minutes on your opinions on that in terms of the patience, the persistence, and I guess how those parallels overlap from running and investing in your health to running in your acting career. And I guess it's the same, isn't it? Investing in yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think we interviewed a guy a little while ago on the podcast called Scott Cunliffe, and he is an endurance athlete. He's an ultra runner, and he said to us that you have to believe in the process. So it doesn't matter what you're doing in your life, you have to put in the amount of hours, the amount of graft that it requires to achieve the thing. If you have an end goal, cool, but don't focus on that. Focus on the process. Focus on your everyday. And that end goal will take care of itself. Don't matter what it is. If it's a marathon, if it's securing a job on a soap, if it's landing a film role, whatever it might be, getting an agent, getting headshots even. Focus on the process of you getting up every day and doing your thing, and the end goal will take care of itself.
Yep. Do you just reminded me there, something that I used to have to do when I first started running as well, when, I couldn't get through that first mile, or, I had no endurance yet, I'd not developed that stamina. I used to just focus literally on the next lamppost. Oh, yeah. I'd go, I'm just going to run to that lamppost. And then when I got to that, I'd focus on the next one. I'm just going to run to that. Or it might be a tree. I'm just going to get to that tree. I wasn't thinking, I've got 10 miles left. It was literally just, where am I right now? And I'm going to focus on that. So if that right now in your overall journey of landing that massive role is like, I have got to start from scratch and I've just got to get to that acting class. And then from there, I've just got to save up that money to get my headshots. And then I've got to use those headshots to get that agent. Don't look at the whole. I think you're so right there, because you'll get overwhelmed. If I'd have thought, if you start a marathon, you think, I've got 26.2 miles and you're just focusing on that, it's going to totally overwhelm you. What are your thoughts, TV's Gary Damer?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of corny comparisons that you could keep talking about. You go out for a run, you might trip on a curb. Don't let that put you off. You might stand in a puddle and your shoes get piss wet through. You know what I mean? Don't let that end your conquest of ever running again. These things are going to happen, so you might as well just get over the fact that your shoes are a bit wet and carry on. Go out the next day and start again with a clean pair of socks on. Does that make any sense? And yeah. Confidence. Yeah. Confidence. That was it. That was the end of my analogy. I was done there with standing in a puddle.
But with the dirt that you get on your trainers, metaphorically speaking, and in life. So hopefully, go listen to the full podcast. Just want it to inspire somebody. We don't want to be preachy and be like, everyone should run, but I do, on the other hand, want to be preaching and say everyone should run, just in terms of what it's done for me, and what I've heard it do for other people. It really has changed my life, and more mentally than physically. I run every week and it sets me up for the week, and it keeps me in a positive mindset. It keeps me creative. I have great ideas to do with my acting career when I'm out running. And I just want people out there who maybe are watching and they've never thought of even giving it a go to just give it a bloody go. If you could sum it up in one sentence, so someone puts a pair of trainers on, what are you going to say?
The act of looking after yourself can feel like a big overarching horrible mission to accomplish, just believe in yourself enough to put some trainers on and run to the end of your road and back, because in the future your future self might really thank you for that.
Oh, that's profound. That's pressure for you, that, Gary.
No, and mine's be patient. It's not going to happen straight away. Yeah.
That's TV's Gary Down for you. I'll give you another cliche. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
Oh, mine is you can't eat an elephant whole.
I mean, that is also great advice.
Whole as in WHOL, by the way.
Oh yeah, just to clarify, you can't eat an elephant whole. WHOLE. I know you've enjoyed this. Honestly, go check out the podcast. Listen to these guys on Behind the Medal. Social media, their podcast, Behind the Medal. Social media is up now. I didn't tell you in the start as well. We talked about it in the podcast, our podcast. But, the last guest these boys had on was Ed Sheeran, by the way, one of Dean's mates. So do go and listen, even if it's just for the curiosity of what Ed is like and whether he's going to start running, because I believe sounds like he might be.
Yeah, well, listen to the podcast and you'll see how far we get into persuading him to run a marathon.
So yeah, go listen to that. And like I said at the start, we are changing direction. Me and Petch are not going to be doing Watch Ross in the same format as you have got used to it over the last 2 years, 2 years plus now. I don't know when we're going to be back with a new episode of something like this, but do keep an eye out on Twitter, on Instagram for atsonthis.tv's Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, because we're still going to be putting out a lot of micro content behind the scenes of these podcasts, but maybe just not full, like long form vlogs like this as well. And if you're not a member of atsonthis.tv and you're an actor, they're ruining the lives, Dean.
What do you think? I don't know what you're doing. How dare you wake up in the morning not signed up to act for this TV?
Atsonthis.tv. What about you, Gary?
I think Dean Lynch needs to learn what it's called.
I was so confident.
He was confident there. Go sign up. I've got my t-shirt on that I promised you I'd wear at the start of this vlog. Petch bought me this for Christmas. Thank you, Petch. And it's also going to mean the last catchphrase ending to this season and potentially this style of Watch Ross is now going to happen, but be slightly different. I'm starting you boys really to make this work. Yeah. Normally I would say, right, you know what time it is in 3, 2, 1, but I'll give the countdown. You two shout the catchphrase and I'm going to turn around for the finale, okay? So, boys, you know what time it is in 3... You know the catchphrase, don't you, Gary? Yeah? In 3... Excellent. In 3, 2, 1...
Bye for now!
Oh, and it is to be continued at some stage. I was getting well into that. I edited that vlog, but it's the first time I actually watched it all the way through. I think it's really interesting, wasn't it? I think there's so many parallels between running endurance races and the endurance race that is having an acting career ultimately, and we all run that marathon in very different times, and some people will have already crossed the finish line or what they perceive to be the finish line, and you might feel that people overtook you and you've fallen behind or you've had an injury and you've had to drop out for a bit, but ultimately, like I said at the start, I promise you, if you just keep going, no matter how slowly, you will crawl inch by inch towards that finish line. Eventually, I think if you do hang in there, really good things will happen to you. You will eventually hit it. What's going down in the comments? I'm just going to check on the comments, see what's going on. Everyone's bigging up running. Sharon, I noticed you said that running and impact stuff isn't great for you because you've got joint pain and stuff like that. But get on an elliptical trainer in the gym, 0 impact. Walk, not as much impact. Swimming, don't think that's impact. We talk about running in there and the effects it has on your physical and your mental health, and how good that is for you as an actor. I think you can replace running with something else ultimately that's just a bit more endurance based. Or just get I don't know, get on a static bike or whatever. I don't know if that's impact. Get an exercise bike. I don't know. I just know for me, since really getting into it, even yesterday with Storm Kira kicking about, I freaking hated it and I didn't want to go and do it, but I still ran 10 miles yesterday because I just knew I would thank myself for doing it, and it gets me really primed for the week ahead. I don't feel ready to attack the week and to be productive until I've done that. It's just a bit of a routine that I've done every Sunday, 10 or 13 miles for, I don't know, for 6-7 years now. So I cannot recommend it enough. I know it might seem a bit weird and it's not directly related to your acting career, but I just think in terms of winning at life, the more you can invest in yourself and your physical health, just the better your mental health becomes. You don't, without even having to focus on it. You just feel freaking good. when you get out there and you move your body. So if running isn't the thing for you, find something that is. Janet says basketball is her sanity, Pilates and yoga for peace. You know what, Janet? I'm crap at basketball. Like, I'm pretty strong, but I can't throw the ball very far. I just don't know. I've clearly not got the technique right. And I'm only 5'11", so I'm not that tall. I can't slam dunk the funk. But you should maybe teach me. We should maybe play. Maybe we should get a bit of an Act on This meeting together where we play a little sport or something. We have a little... I want to do more like that. You know, we do these meetups every first Saturday of the month. I run an acting, like, networking meeting completely free. You don't even have to be a member of actonthis.tv to come. I run that at Home Theatre first Saturday of every month, 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. We've got Mel and Wendy run the London one at BFI Benugo Bar South Bank in London. Again, first Saturday of every month, 11 till 2. Maybe we should start doing some extracurricular stuff as well, where we just go, right, let's just go on some little excursions and just do stuff. Doesn't even have to be acting related at all. Basketball, maybe we should start a basketball team. Let me know if you'd be up for it. I'm, as I said, very, very poor. Linda, hope you're good. Julie, what you're saying, very impressive, very inspiring. I like Latin dance teaching, helps me to keep fit. Love helping others too. That's it as well, you know. Like, that's what I love about running. The camaraderie on a race is unbelievable. If you are taking part in a marathon, and this is again another parallel that we all need in the acting industry, and what I hope this group and actonthis.tv does for all you lot, is you see people really struggling, and they want to walk, and people are crying, people are sat on the side of the road, like, genuinely, it gets pretty emotional. It's like a war zone at times. And there are casualties knocking around, and you know, and you will run behind somebody, and you put your hand on the back as you're running past him. You're like, "Come on, mate, you can do this. You can do this." One step in front, in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. Come on, let's go. And people will shout for you in the crowd and cheer you on. To get everyone over that finish line. And I just want more of that in the acting industry as well, where people aren't looking at each other as a threat and like, oh my God, Janet's got a job. Shit, that means there's one less job for me. I want us all to be pushing each other over the line, because at the end of the day, it's just a freaking job. Like, you know, it's just a job. And as long as you're still in the race, I think really that process and focusing on the process is all that really matters. I mean, ultimately matters. Life would be a lot worse for you if you had to drop out of the race for some kind of crazy health reason and you can no longer audition, not because you're just jaded and you don't want to, because actually you're ill and you can't. So as long as you're actually up and in the race and grateful, and every day above ground is a great day, and every day you wake up with air in your nostrils, you're appreciative, and you've got that gratitude for actually just being able to take part. I truly believe that honestly is really all that matters. That's that process that we said on the podcast there. If you can fall in love with it, you'll always feel fulfilled, you know, regardless of whether you've got, you know, an amazing job or not. You know, as long as you're in the race, I feel happy that, you know, anything could happen. What else is going on? I'm finding meditation great, says John. Running is my meditation again, John. Honestly, like the deep thought that I have when I'm running, and it's me on my own with some music on. I don't drive, but it's the equivalent. Sometimes, you know, when people say they zone out a bit, that driving's so automatic for them, they'll get from A to B, and sometimes they're like, oh my God, I don't even really remember the journey. I mean, I'm hoping they were looking at the road and taking care. I certainly do when I'm running, but there are moments where time almost just flies when you're running. You go, oh my God, there's just 2 miles just gone. Like 16 minutes of running. I don't really remember it. I was like planning and plotting things in my career, in my head, in business, you know, acting related stuff or not. It's great meditation in that way, in terms of just, you know, thinking. I've never been able to sit down and meditate and clear my thoughts. Never been one for that. Because I like to think. Stephanie says, yes, love Latin dancing, super sociable as well when you rotate partners. I need to get some Latin dancing in then. Definitely. Nicolette, I hope you're well. Fencing and swimming for tea. That's his name, by the way. Don't mean eating. Fencing and swimming for your tea. I'm a bit late to the parties. I'm working, but hello, everyone. All right, Andrea, how you doing? I started dance cardio last year, says Bobby. Everyone's into it, really, aren't they? Salsa, says Nicoletta. I once got an award for best loser, as I was happy even when losing every chess game at Prime. Oh, you're talking about just celebrating taking part, Andrea. Yeah, good stuff. Best loser. You know, well, it's better to be the best loser, isn't it, than the worst winner. Definitely. Donna, how you doing? Hope you are good. So yeah, if you want to watch the whole, there's two options now on actsonthis.tv. If you've not been on the site for a while, or you're not a member and you've no clue about it, all podcasts are filmed and obviously recorded as audio. So you have the video on actsonthis.tv where you can listen to the whole thing, or you can just listen to the audio. The choice is absolutely yours, but you will find just incredible podcasts on here with the biggest names in the industry. There's Dan Winch, one of the top exec producers at ITV. Well, currently at ITV, he's producing a show called Quiz starring Michael Sheen. That will come out on ITV. I don't know if it's this month or early next month. Talks all about exec producing, how producers cast actors, what they want from actors. So it's not just about casting directors. There's a podcast I did talking about 10 years of Acts on This. It's the 10th anniversary of Acts on This.tv this year. Peter Hunt, big shout out to him. That was his birthday yesterday. Peter's the head casting director at Hollyoaks. Talked for 2.5 hours about how you get in the room with him, how you book jobs on serial drama. Ultimately, if you don't have your first credit on TV and you don't go and listen to that podcast, you are shooting yourself in the foot massively in a big way. Because already I've had 6 or 7 emails from people who have listened to that podcast and have already been for general auditions with Peter. I know Kerry Bostock, I know she's on here tonight. Kerry was there last week along with Chloe. Steve Connolly's been. There's been loads of people who listened to that, took advice from Peter, acted on this advice that Peter gave out. That's why it's called Act on This, and have now been in to see Peter. Could well get, even one line on Hollyoaks. It's what I'm trying to tell people, right? Membership to Act on This. It does have a cost associated with it. It's 17 quid a month, right? It's £4.25 a week. It's the price of a latte a week. If you get one line on Hollyoaks, and we discuss this in the podcast, you'll get roughly £1,000. If you're not prepared to put 17 quid into your career, to get direct, advice from the man who would be seeing you for an audition to put you in said show, that you could get, £1,000 for doing one line, I just think you're bonkers. But check it out. Loads of, 200 hours worth of podcasts on actsonthis.tv right now. So if you don't know what it is and you've not been there before, and you've no clue, you've never clapped eyes on me, go and check it out. It's super legit. There's loads and loads of incredible advice from the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, producers in the industry. John says, just going to ask while here right now, does anyone know of any martial arts training in London or Surrey? Looking to try a few classes, mainly connect to body and try something new. I've absolutely no idea, John. But if you do have any advice for John, then shout up. All right, Chris. Hope you're good, mate. Just noticed you've just logged in. Barbara's here. Says, I'm late. Hey there. Great Tom Cruise impression in The Stranger. Cheers, mate. Yeah, I was. I'm so happy that The Stranger has took off on Netflix. I'm only in one episode of it, and it was just a favour really from the writer, because I've helped those guys out for quite a while, And yeah, I get to put the 1980s Tom Cruise kind of baseball jacket on. I get a cheeky little scene with Hannah John Kamen. But honestly, that just proves, in terms of I never expected that to happen. It wasn't an audition or anything like that. I've always tried to give as much as I can to this industry and people within it, and just try and offer value. And I offered value to some people over the last few years, and then, I ended up getting an incredible favour repaid without asking for it. I kind of asked tongue in cheek as a joke, going, why don't you write me a scene with Hannah John Kamen? That'd look good on my show reel. Not expecting anything to come of that, and then it did. But I'm sure it wouldn't have done had I not just tried to offer people value. Honestly, kindness is so freaking underrated in this industry. It just is. So many people just seem to be out for anything they can get, and they don't give a shit about anybody else, and they don't want to help other people have success unless they're in their thing. It's like, I'll help you with that film, but I'll have to be in it. No, don't be like that. Just go and help with the film because it's the right thing to do. Doing the right thing is always the right thing, and people will then want to repay you. Just guilt people into wanting to give you shit, basically. But you never know. You just never know what will happen. When you give more than you ask for, ultimately, just look at always. It's all what I'm known for, really. Just giving a little bit more than I took. That's it. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Nikki says The Stranger was addictive. Binge watched at the weekend. Top job, Ross. Thank you, Nikki. This honestly is such a good show. I'm not just saying this. You always get this where actors are in something and they go, "Oh my god, it's so amazing." There have been things that I've been in that's not been that amazing. This is absolutely truly world class, and it's such an amazing thing to see a British a British series dominate on Netflix, because there's some incredible Netflix originals and they're all American. I've not seen many that have crushed in the UK, that have been UK-based things, but I can't even really remember like what I've even seen on there really that is UK-based, that I've even seen in the top 5, top 10 when you go on Netflix. The Stranger has dominated at 1 or 2 since it came out. It's just incredible seeing people's reaction to it. So do go and watch it. It's such a great watch. Not because I've had anything to do with it. Obviously, that's a great episode 5 is particularly good, particularly the beginning of it. But yeah, it's just such a good show. I'm so happy it's done what I thought it could do. I was sat in those read-throughs, reading those scripts, like on the edge of my seat. And even when I've been watching it, I binged it last week and watched it, even though I knew what was going to happen. Couldn't really stop watching. It's so good, and it's really nice when you see something go from script to screen, and you're like, I wonder how they're going to shoot this. And I was only there for like a day, only filmed a day on it. It's really nice to see how that all turned out. So yeah, if you've not seen it yet, The Stranger on Netflix would mean the world if you do watch it, binge it. And I don't know if they can do a second series because it was based on Harlan Coben's book. I don't know if he's done more than one of The Stranger, but if he has, maybe I'll get a shot at a second one. That'd be nice. Liz has already been out to do a run after watching the podcast with Dean and Gary. That's amazing, Liz. You won't ache tomorrow. You'll ache the day after tomorrow. But Liz is going to do couch to 5K. That's amazing. Definitely. Honestly, just get out there and move without a doubt. Get out there and just move your limbs. You'll feel good. Just do what you can. You don't have to go and run a marathon. Just run to the end of the road. Run to the bus stop. Whatever. But start moving more. You'll reap the benefits of it. So I'm going to be back. It's 10 o'clock now. I'm going to be back next Monday night. 9 p.m. right here on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn as well and Twitter, but I monitor all the comments on Facebook, so come and join us, facebook.com/@onthisTV. If you're listening on the replay, on the audio experience on iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify, come and watch next time if you can. If I can do anything for anybody, let me know. Like I say, if you want a £1 trial link to actonthis.tv, just drop me an email now, ross@actonthis.tv. I will send you a link back tonight before I go to bed. You'll be able to get access to actonthis.tv for 7 full days, unlimited account, like everything's open to you for £1. If you don't think it's incredible value, you don't have to carry your membership on, just cancel it and you won't get charged anything. If you want to carry membership on, then you can. You don't have to do anything. It's already set up for you. But yeah, let me know. ross@actonthis.tv. That applies to those on the replay as well. If you drop me an email, I will send you a link. As long as you've not had one, don't try and play the system by getting multiple £1 links. But yeah, if you're not had one, drop me an email. I would love to get you involved in the community. We have a private community on the website as well. It's like a private Facebook group, effectively. Not the main Facebook group for Act On This. It's completely private. It's on actonthis.tv. It's nothing to do with Facebook. So you also get access to that. You get access to me. You get access to the community. Help and support from other people who are motivated, inspired people going out and actually getting shit done, not just sitting in a Facebook group and whinging about it. So you will become part of a family of actual, actors who really care about getting things done. So it's well worth being a part of that. Thank you, Tony, for watching. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Bobby. Hope you're good, mate. I'll finish actually, guys, by playing you I've got another tiny little sample of the main podcast with Gary and Dean. So I'll get that set up now so I can play that. It's only like 2 minutes or so. But again, it's just another little... There's so many like golden nuggets in that interview that just put a lot of life into perspective. I've got another one here for you that I'll play if I can find how I even end this broadcast. This always happens, doesn't it? Always happens. Facebook just makes it so hard to end your live video. There you go. I've sorted it out. Let me line this little clip up for you. So this is another couple of minutes of that podcast, but it's 2 hours tonight in total. You will have listened to about 17 minutes of it. So get your membership at actonthis.tv if you want to listen to the rest, and you want to unlock another 200 hours of incredible advice from literally the people who run this industry, the biggest casting directors, the biggest directors, agents, actors, writers, and producers. You don't get information like this anywhere else. No drama school teaches it. You'll find it in no book, no acting class. If you want to get the information of how you succeed in this industry directly from the people who you would need to be in front of to make that happen, there is no other place where you get that info. actonthis.tv. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for being here. Love to you all. Check this out, and bye for now.
a lot of young people are staring into a world that they don't recognize and that they don't necessarily feel like they're a part of. And so if you layer on top of that they want to be an actor, and so they've got this self-employed creative outlet that they don't really know what to do, to then say to them, well, you should be running as well. There's a lot of pressure.
Do some marathons as well as trying to be an actor. Yeah.
Lazy bone idol, good for nothing. But I think what I mean is that I would never pressure anyone to do anything if they weren't ready to do something.
Yeah.
And so the idea that this is really good for you, I promise you this is really good for you, getting out and treating your body and your mind well and running, but only do it when you're available to, because it could make you feel even worse. I can't run to the fucking bus stop. You know, how shit am I?
I don't expect that though. I want everyone to expect that, because I couldn't. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Just be very kind to yourself and congratulate yourself that you just got out and you did it.
Getting out the door, that's the biggest hurdle.
One of the things that me and Gary do really well with each other is we celebrate little victories.
Yep.
So that could be anything. When we go Glastonbury every year, and we'll celebrate getting a really nice tent spot. We'll go little victory tick.
Yeah.
And celebrating those tiny silver linings. Give yourself, little pats on the back, be it about the most stupid things, can make you feel really good when you do achieve the big stuff.
Yeah. I always worry that when we talk, it always sounds really wanky and preacher. Yeah. But it's so easy to forget to do a little handshake when you do a little victory. Do you know what I mean? Because if you just do things like that throughout the day, all of a sudden you'll get to the end of the day and you go, do you know what? I've done my little victory handshake 20 times today. So today's been a successful day. It's so easy just to go through your day if you don't acknowledge those moments and then go, oh God, it was a really bad day today. Even though you've had the same day as you've done your 20 victory handshakes, it's just how you look at it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it just feels so easy to remind someone to go, get that done.